Good morning. This is Dylan Jovine with Behind the Markets. Happy Monday. Today is Monday, April 28th, and today is Global Pay It Forward Day. And that paying it forward is something I really try to teach my kids and something that I really try to practice very thoroughly in my own life. So many people have done so many nice things for me over my career that in my life in general, that I go out of my way to try to pay it forward because I'm so grateful for it. And whenever I help somebody and somebody says to me, "Oh my God, I can't believe you did this for me. Thank you so much." They say, "How can I pay you back?" I always say, pay it forward. Don't pay it back. Don't pay it back to me. Pay it forward. Do something nice for somebody else when they're in trouble. And don't even look for credit for it. That's the way you want to conduct yourself. This is what I teach my kids. Anyway, tonight we've been talking so much about tariffs here and all this other stuff that we haven't really had a chance to talk about what's happening in the defense sector. And I am telling you, folks, for those of you who are not invested in the defense sector, you are missing out on a massive mega trend here. First of all, here's what's happened in the past few weeks. Number one, the Trump administration proposed a $1 trillion budget for the defense budget, basically for the Pentagon. $1 trillion. That is $120 billion bigger than last year's budget. $120 billion. That is massive. It's the biggest defense budget in history. It is the largest increase in history, which tells you a lot about what's going on. And again, we've been talking about tariffs and China and all this other stuff, but let's split screen that for a second. Put yourself in President Trump's shoes, and you're hearing from people like Admiral Sam Paparo, the head of U.S. Indo-Pacific Command. He went to Congress and he warned lawmakers, he warned Congress that China's aggressive maneuvers around Taiwan are, quote, not just exercises, they are dress rehearsals for forced unification. So listen, this is all being ramped up as this trade war is happening. China keeps doing this kind of stuff. And they're both playing off of each other. The U.S. slapped bigger tariffs on China. You're almost incentivizing China to say, we got nothing to lose at this point. So there's a lot of interplay happening here between this. But one thing is sure, one thing is certain, God willing, nobody wants war. Nobody wants war. That would be such a disaster, really. There'd be no real winners, just survivors, just one side doing less bad than another side. And it would you would change the game as we know it in terms of the economy and all that stuff. But you know what? It wouldn't be the first time it happened, and we have a playbook for that too. More importantly, for those who haven't invested in the defense sector yet, consider this. First of all, in America, we're going up to $1 trillion defense budget. Also, Germany passed $1 trillion budget for defense. So Europe is rearming, and we talked about this in the Iron Dome webinar we did last month. And we listed a bunch of good companies in America, and we listed a bunch of good companies in Europe, and they have been going higher. Those European companies, that is a mega wave. Look, Europe is reindustrializing. They have every reason to do it. Really every reason to do it. It's going to strengthen the German economy. Basically, their military is the equivalent of Boy Scouts before. They're really rearming, I mean, for better and for worse. But they're really reindustrializing. They're bringing industrial policy there in terms of warfare and tanks and not tanks, but drones and all this other thing. And a bunch of companies that we recommended, for example, just one, Air Environment, just got a $50 million drone contract from the Italian Ministry of Defense. So you see that even while Trump is pulling back, let's say, support for Ukraine, what it's incentivizing European countries to do is go out and buy a lot of the equipment they need to fill gaps in their own defense structure. They're buying it from American companies that make it. We're just not subsidizing it anymore. That's the attitude here. But those contracts aren't going to go away. The Europeans have a serious gap in their defense architecture, specifically around targeting satellite infrastructure. So they're really going to a lot of these defense companies. They're buying the drones. They're buying the satellite, the targeting, the information they need, really ramping up until they can fill their own gap But while they're doing that, it props up American companies. Trump's $1 trillion defense budget, $120 billion more than before, props up America. It's going to be a boom for American defense companies, especially with the Iron Dome. And then finally, Germany and the rest of Europe really rearming props up European and some American defense companies. So we have a massive mega trend underway here. And it's really been astonishing. So much has happened this month. It's really quite astonishing. Anyway, that is all I have for you today. Happy Monday. I will see you tomorrow.